Hey everybody! Welcome back to the lore of Granblue Fantasy. Today we're gonna cover the Festival of Falling Flame, the very first event in Granblue Fantasy's history. This event happens in the Port Breeze archipelago, and it doesn't need a lot of context, so it's the perfect event to start off with, and to explain first before any other type of events or Fate episodes. So here we go. So this Festival of Flame is a spectacle that takes place once a year in the Port Breeze archipelago. It's pretty popular since it attracts tourists from all corners of the sky every year. A young man walks in, very excited to be in the festivities. At the same time, a young woman seems to be surprised at the sheer size of the festival. Her objective is to get to the casino liner. If I'm not mistaken, this is the same casino liner where you can bet chips and get rewards for basically casino games. Not sure if they're the same casino, but they probably are. The two people bump into each other, and the flames of passion are instantly kindled. In another part of the festival, Sturm and Drang search for a legendary primal beast. A scheme seems to be afoot. Meanwhile, the crew is exploring the festival. Ruria seems particularly excited about it. They bump into Zero Cart at the Knick-Knack Shack, where it seems business is going pretty well. They chit-chat for a while. Zero tells them about all the delicacies and the exotic monsters in the circus, and about the main attraction, the duels being held on the casino liner. V catches the eye of a notice pamphlet announcing a card game contest. The prize being 100,000 rupees. That's quite a lot. The entry is free, so the crew decides to give it a go. They lose pretty badly. Their opponent cheated, and he now demands a reward from the crew. He starts intimidating them, but a young woman shows up and confronts the cheater. She introduces herself as Therese, but gets a little nervous, and that's when the other gentleman from before chimes in, defending the lady. He proposes a little round of playing cards with the bandit, betting the crew's debt as a wager. The gentleman wins with an outstanding hand. He tells the bandit they can call him Richard, the Fortunate. It seems that luck is always on his side. The bandit gets very angry, and the crew take it outside and beat him up. They decide to return to the town, but Richard is nowhere to be seen. That's when Richard shows up, really scared. A monster in the bushes spooked him. The crew takes care of it, and Richard thanks them. V asks him why he left before dealing with the bandit, and Richard explains that he saw a strange light coming from the bushes. He went to take a look, and that's when he found the monster. The monster seemed to have a great control over fire. Now this wouldn't be uncommon in the Vaults Duchy, for example, but in Port Breeze, that's a bit odd. They finally return to town and bump into Therese, who thanks them for dealing with the bandit. Richard tries to flirt with her, but is interrupted by an attendant warning Therese that the ferry to the casino liner is about to leave, so she leaves as well. The crew decides to go back to enjoying the festivities, but first, Richard requests a little favor from them. He wants them to help him get closer to Therese. The crew gladly accepts and starts thinking of how to get closer to her. That's when a merchant approaches the crew. Some of the monsters from the Circus of Horrors have escaped from their cages, and there's danger that they will attack. Richard sees this as the perfect opportunity to impress Therese, and convinces the crew to help him. They find the monsters. They're those type of fiery monsters from before. Odd, since they're not at all native to the island, as I said before. They've most likely been brought from another island because of some kind of connection to the festival, as Richard explains. He tells the crew that the origin of the festival is from an old ancient legend about a powerful fire monster, a primal beast. This primal beast visits the island once a year, and its name is Phoenix. The monsters get tired of waiting for the crew, so they attack, and the crew quickly deals with them. They return to the town once again, and Zero approaches them, thanking them for dealing with the runaway monsters. The crew takes this chance to ask Zero about Therese. She reveals that Therese is in fact a great duelist that is said to be participating in the arena at the casino liner. So, heading over to the casino liner, a man approaches, asking them if they want to join the duels. They refuse, but ask him where Therese might be. The man scoffs at the crew. Therese seems to be quite the big shot here. Another tells them that the only way they can meet Therese is to join the duels. If they win, they'll be able to duel with her. Richard, of course wanting to get closer to Therese, decides to join the duels. But first, they have to deal with the monster that wandered onto deck. They manage to defeat it, but Catalina is growing ever more suspicious of this and wonders how did a monster get onto the liner. The only way to get there is by airship from the town. The thought is interrupted by even more monsters. They manage to fend off a whole bunch of them and make their way to a small cargo ship. Someone must be trying to get in the way of the duels, Catalina says. They ready themselves for another round of the beasts when the sound of applause reverberates through the room. It's Drang and Sturm. They were the ones that brought the monsters on board, and they were the ones responsible for releasing the monsters at the circus as well. The crew fights off a few more monsters, but that gives Drang and Sturm the chance to escape. They chase after them, but Ruria stops along the way. She senses the primal beast's power. Once back at the casino liner, they notice the duelists are trying to protect the crowd from the monsters. Richard notices Therese trying to deal with Drang and Sturm, but before she's able to strike Sturm, Richard interrupts her and challenges the two to a duel. The ground shakes violently. Something must be causing it. It's becoming very dangerous to fight on the liner, but Therese needs their help nonetheless. She tries to protect the crowd from the two tricksters regardless, and the crew tries to deal with the monsters. After they're dealt with, the only threat left is the two mercenaries. The crowd cheers for them, just like the whole situation is just one big duel. The couple runs off and retreats back to the cargo ship. Drang exclaims that their job is done there. The fire monsters were just sacrifices, an offering to the Phoenix, as it seems. And soon enough, the great Phoenix from legend rises from the ground, and it seems very angry. Drang and Sturm take this chance to flee. Noticing the Phoenix, the crew realizes that they need to draw it away from the crowd. They hop onto the Grand Cipher and lure it away. With a little work, they manage to defeat the mighty Phoenix, and so the Phoenix speaks unto them. And with that promise, the Phoenix vanishes once more. The town is safe once again, and the spectators cheer for our heroes. Therese thanks the crew for saving her, and for helping take down the monsters, and more importantly, for giving the crowd a spectacular show that they will not forget. But V gives all the credit to Richard, who, after all, was the one that led them to their heroic endeavors. Therese asks if Richard wants some sort of reward. This is a perfect chance for Richard, so he confesses his love for Therese, and asks her on a date. Therese accepts on the condition that he beats her on a duel, but unfortunately Slick Rick is more capable on card games than fighting, so he is beaten on a matter of seconds. Therese mocks him for his weakness, saying she would never date someone that weak, so Richard is completely heartbroken. It seems his luck has finally ran out. While Richard is depressing over his loss, a young woman approaches and very cryptically says,
そう、運が悪かったのよ、勝負師さん。あの子ってば、デュエルが関わると人が変わっちゃうんだから。まあ、元気を出すことですわ。きっとすぐ新しい恋が見つかりますわ。
なんて美しい女性。間違いない。これは運命だ。
Hearing this, it's inevitable. Slick Rick has fallen in love once again. Like a phoenix, the flames of Richard's love has risen once again. Well, that's the end of the very first Granblue Fantasy event, Festival of the Falling Flame. And already we were introduced to 3 new characters. Richard, who as of right now has an R and an SR character. Therese, who has 2 SRs and an SSR. The mysterious woman from the ending, who's a pretty neat character, who I might cover in our Fate episodes very soon. She has a couple of SSRs as well. She's a fan favorite. I think she had a 5-star uncap recently, so yeah, she's pretty popular. As for my opinion of this event, well, it's the first Granblue event, so it's pretty basic. I don't dislike it, but it's not that great. It's kind of formulaic. It ain't the worst for sure. I mean, it introduces you to new characters, gives you some more flavor into them, gives them some sort of character arcs, but it has a very common theme in the first few Granblue events. That's basically every chapter has a monster fight, which is kind of boring sometimes. It's kind of weird. Every chapter at the end there's a monster fight for some reason. That's why I kept just repeating, oh yeah, then fire monster attacks, oh yeah, then this monster attacks and jumps on whatever. And for the explanation, it's somewhat covered, but it kinda doesn't fit Dragonstorm's character, at least not what they become in later events and later in the later main story. They're somewhat different to what they are in the beginning. But yeah, with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Suggest me what I should cover next. I'll probably be just a little more regular on the uploads. I'm going on vacation soon, but since I'm done with the exams and stuff, I have more time for these. Pretty soon I have coming a Fate episode about a pretty recent character that you'll probably like. But yeah, with that said, until then, have a great day and don't stop grinding.